Hello and welcome to my video on quadratic equations. In particular, we're going to be looking at the method of factorisation. So this is a very important method, very useful. Say we want to factorise this quadratic equation here, x squared plus 3x plus 2. So the method, generally speaking, goes like this. We need to find two numbers, let's call them D and E. When we multiply them together, so their product is equal to AC. So it has to be equal to AC in the equation that we're trying to factorise. So in this case, AC is 2. But we also need their sum to be equal to B. And in this case, their sum should be 3. So the two numbers are going to be 1 and 2. They're usually quite simple enough to work out. Once you've got the two numbers, they will become the coefficients of your x terms. So you now turn the equation into x squared plus 3x plus 2 becomes x squared plus 2x plus x plus 2. And I'll just put a little bracket around that just to show that we've changed 3x to 2x plus x. So we haven't really done anything. We've just split it up into 2x terms instead of 1. So this 2 and this 1 come from D and E. I will show you the general solution in a minute. Okay, so then on the next line we can factorise, so we take an x out. So x times x is x squared and x times 2 is 2x. That's this first part, x squared plus 2x. And then this x plus 2 here is just 1 times x plus 2. Okay, so it's very useful. So let me show you a very important step here. So once you do this first factorisation, which is when you factorise this first half, x squared plus 2x, right? You get x times x plus 2. This x plus 2 in the bracket, this is one of your factors. You can actually write down one of the roots of the equation immediately. When you set that equal to 0, you get x equals minus 2, which is a root of that equation. So when that equals 0, x is equal to minus 2 is a solution. Minus 2 squared is 4, minus 6 is minus 2, plus 2 is 0. I've just verified it as well. Now, what's great about this is not only does it give you one of the solutions, but then all you have to do is copy this over here, and this will, as I say, this is a factor, and you want to find the other factor, okay, and you get it for free because what happens is this will now be a factor of this last portion, this second half of this equation here. So if you split this in, this has 4 terms, x squared, 2x, x, 2. So the first 2 terms are a half, 1 half, and the second 2 terms are another half. First 2 terms we've just factorised x times x plus 2. Now we need to factorise the last 2 terms. But our job's a lot easier now because we've found a factor, which is x plus 2. As I say, we just rewrite that here, and then this last bit we need to fill in, which will be 1. Because to get from x plus 2 to x plus 2, you just multiply it by 1. So plus 1 times. Okay, and then we combine it together. So x plus 2 is a common factor here. So we combine it. So we get x plus 1 times x plus 2. So that's it factorised. And then we just get our solutions, x equals minus 1 and x equals minus 2. If we set it equal to 0, I mean, to get the roots. Okay, but the job wasn't to find the roots. The job was just to factorise the equation. From there, we can get the roots very quickly. You just set each one equal to 0. Set each of these equal to 0, because this is technically 2 factors. X plus 1 is a factor, x plus 2 is a factor. So for example, just to demonstrate that, if you did long division, we're not going to do long division, but if I did long division on that, then the answer up here, so I divide x squared plus 3x plus 2 divided by x plus 1, divide that into that using long division, so the answer up here would be x plus 2. And then I'm not going to do the other one. It's quite obvious if you put an x plus 2 here, that'll be x plus 1 as your solution. Okay, right. But now let's look at a more tricky example, and then we'll look at the general case. ax squared plus bx plus c. But as I say, let's go for a more complicated example. That was a quite straightforward example. So let's spice things up a bit. Now what you noticed up here was this a value was 1, because we don't have any coefficient here. But now I'm going to make it a wee bit more exciting. Let's make it a 2. And let's change the other terms. Let's choose a completely different equation this time. Okay, now the good thing is, even though I've changed the equation, the method will not change. I'll still apply the same rules as I did in the previous example. So I'll change this to a 1 just to be a perfectionist. So this is, change it to a 2. This is example 2. Right, so factorize this. Okay, as I say, apply the same rules. So we want two numbers that multiply to give us AC. And we want two numbers that add to give us B. So AC in this case is now going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. And B is obviously minus 5. It's not 3 anymore. So it's minus 5. All right. So what two numbers when added together give minus 5 and when multiplied together give 6? Okay, have a think about it for a while and I'll write the answer down while you're thinking about it. So the two answers are minus 2 and minus 3. So if you add them together you get minus 5, and if you multiply them you get 6. Right, so let's get rid of all of this. Now, what we're going to do now is we'll rewrite this equation down again. So 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. And then we've now got our d and our e values, so we can split the minus 5x up. So that will become minus 2x minus 3x plus 3. So I've just changed this minus 5x to this minus 2x minus 3x, so it all adds up to the same thing. And again, we just factorize it each half in turn. So if we factorize this half, we get 2x minus 1. And now, because we've got minus 1, x minus 1 is a factor, we just repeat that over here. And that will be a factor of minus 3x plus 3. We get that for free. That's the great thing about this method. And then that'll just be a minus 3 there. And then we combine them together. And that's it done. Now we've factorized it. So we've factorized 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 and written it as a product of its factors, 2x minus 3 times x minus 1. And from there we can quickly work out the roots. If the question asked what are the roots of the equation when 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals 0, then you can quickly write them down. You set each of these equal to 0. So one solution will be 1, x is 1. And for this other one, 2x is 3, so x is 3 over 2. So x equals 1. So these are the roots if the equation equals 0. Right, but anyway, it was only just to factorize it. We weren't asked to find the roots, okay? So never mind the roots, leave the roots for now. So that's it factorized, and that's a more tricky example because there was a 2 at the front. Okay, the general principle is the same, the rules are the same. Two numbers that multiply to give you AC and add together to give you B.